Hello, it's nice to be back with you tonight. For the top stories, Federal Executive Council fine-tunes the mechanism for implementing the 2016 budget. Nigeria and Cameroon jointly commit to stronger relations and growing their economies while stamping out the menace of insurgency and terrorism. Also tonight, agriculture and food security. You'll get to hear what the policy direction is towards repositioning agriculture and what is on ground for food sufficiency. Elsewhere, the Nigerian Air Force intensifies the bombardment of Sambisa forest to flush out the insurgents, while in Abeokuta, following prompt police action, a former education minister who was kidnapped recently is breathing the air of freedom. That's not all. We are also high on health matters tonight, as you will discover if you stay on News Extra with me, Aisha Bello Mustafa. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. The Federal Executive Council met today with Vice President Yemi Osinbajo presiding, while President Buhari was busy engaging visiting Cameroonian President Paul Biya. State House correspondent Jide Onifade reports that the meeting was to sharpen the 2016 budget implementation.
Members of the Federal Executive Council at this meeting are crossing the T's and dotting the I's in their readiness to hit the ground running immediately the budget is signed into law. And part of what was discussed was the strategic implementation plan for the 2016 budget. For example, among the presentations was the introduction to the Council of the priority economic activities that the Ministry of Budget and National Planning needs to undertake to ensure that the purpose for which the 2016 budget was made is realized. The Minister of State and the Ministry, Zainab Ahmed, explained that there are 34 strategic areas grouped under 4 main objectives, namely policy, governance, security, diversification of the economy, job creation for youths, and support for the very poor, and the fourth being reflating the economy through investment.
We are setting a 3-year deadline to achieve self-sufficiency in refined petroleum products and to become a net exporter of petroleum products. The objective of this is to increase domestic supply of refined products and to reduce demand on foreign exchange for importing of refined petroleum products in our country. Of course, to optimize up to 7,000 megawatts installed power capacity and to ensure associated infrastructure to fuel, transmit, and distribute this capacity in the maximum operational level that is obtainable. We also have a target to maintain a stable debt management strategy. There is a plan to implement a roadmap to increase private sector investment in the area of tourism, sports, and the objective of this is to increase investment in service sectors, resulting in job creation and youth employment.
The Minister of State for Foreign Affairs, Khadijat Bukar Abba, gave a detailed report on the recent trip of Mr. President to the United States of America, where he attended the 4th World Summit on Nuclear Security.
The importance of attending this meeting is to join world leaders in the fight against global terrorism.
As the nation awaits the signing of the budget, which is likely to be any time from now, it is becoming increasingly clear how the federal government hopes to implement its programs, as explained by the members of the Federal Executive Council. From the State House, Jide Onifade, NT News.
Nigeria and Cameroon have pledged their readiness to work more assiduously towards harnessing the investment potential of both countries in a deliberate attempt to open up more opportunities towards reducing unemployment and its consequences on the economy. A communique issued at the end of the two-day bilateral visit by President Paul Biya of Cameroon to Nigeria also stated the resolve of the two countries to ensure total elimination of the Boko Haram insurgency. Here is our State House correspondent Adamu Sambo with the details.
The visit by President Paul Biya to Nigeria, which is a follow-up to President Muhammadu Buhari's earlier tour of duty to Cameroon last year, falls within the context of strengthening the excellent relations of friendship, brotherhood, and good neighborliness between the two countries. The communique, which emanated from the discussions by the two leaders and their countries' delegations on a wide range of bilateral, regional, and international issues, put into proper perspective the desire to collaborate more effectively towards securing their countries as well as ensuring economic diversification. Read by the Ministers of Foreign Affairs of the two countries, the communique noted with satisfaction the successes achieved in the fight against Boko Haram and promised continued support to the multinational Joint Task Force for the ongoing clearance operations to bring the activities of the terrorist group to an end.
A tripartite meeting of the two countries and the United Nations High Commission for Refugees should be convened with a view to agreeing on a framework for the safe return of Nigerian refugees currently hosted by Cameroon. The two presidents welcomed the increased interest by investors of both countries in each other's economies as a measure that will strengthen and expand the already existing mutually beneficial economic cooperation between the two countries.
The leaders welcomed the recent meeting of experts on the modalities for the construction of a bridge over Maetiel to link Belel in Adamawa State and Demsa in Cameroon, as well as related infrastructure along the Jabilamba-Garua corridor, and directed for the early signing of the MOU's terms of reference as well as project execution.
Concerning the demarcation of borders in the remaining areas between the two countries, both leaders agreed that following the gradual return of peace to affected areas, experts of both countries under the Cameroon-Nigeria Mixed Commission should resume the demarcation exercise as soon as possible. The two presidents welcomed the border agreement in the domain of hydrocarbon, which has already been initialed, and have agreed to take concrete measures towards signing.
Presidents Muhammadu Buhari of Nigeria and Paul Biya of Cameroon later interacted with newsmen.
We are very, very alert to our responsibilities, and we will maintain a focus. And we need the cooperation of every serious citizen in both countries, in the region and in the continent, to survive and move forward.
In as much as the security situation and the issues are very important, we also understood the need to focus on economic issues so that we re-establish livelihoods, we revamp local economies and stabilize situation in areas especially affected by the Boko Haram crisis.
Apart from agreeing to strengthen the Nigeria-Cameroon Joint Commission to give it more leverage to implement all the signed agreements, Presidents Muhammadu Buhari and Paul Biya also called for early signing of the revised document of the 1963 Protocol on free movements of persons and goods in the interests of their countries. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
And last night, President Buhari held a state banquet in honor of President Paul Biya. Again, Adamu Sambo reports that the Nigerian leader restated the government's commitment to strengthening existing relations with Cameroon in order to jointly grow their economies.
The state banquet was specifically hosted by President Muhammadu Buhari and his wife Aisha Buhari in honor of the first family of Cameroon to formally appreciate the growing solidarity and complementarity in the relations between the two neighboring countries. President Muhammadu Buhari, who spoke extensively on the strategic nature of the mutually beneficial relations between Nigeria and Cameroon, promised to do everything within his power towards deepening and improving the bilateral ties in key sectors of the country's economies.
We stand ready to work with you to harness the great potentials that our countries have in abundance in order to open up opportunities for our people in the interest of the security and national development of our countries.
The president used the forum to formally express appreciation to President Paul Biya for hosting over 56,000 Nigerian refugees since 2014, as well as the unprecedented support and cooperation in the fight against insurgency, which sent a clear signal to the terrorists that they have no hiding place anymore in the region.
Let me reiterate this government's resolve to end this barbarism and to ensure that their strange ideologies and teachings have no place in our future. I give you my personal assurance that as soon as the data of all internally displaced persons and refugees are available, we develop modalities on how to safely return you to our homes.
President Paul Biya of Cameroon said Nigeria and Cameroon have a lot in common, and there is a wide array of cooperation opportunities that must be explored and exploited continuously for the benefit of the two countries and their peoples.
Dans l'histoire des rapports entre le Nigeria et le Cameroun,
I believe it would be worthwhile for starters to design joint development projects in our border areas that have been devastated by Boko Haram and where displaced people will have to be resettled. I have no doubt that this road, which we will be traveling together, will lead to success.
From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
Let's turn our attention to agriculture matters now. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo says the Buhari administration has a clear idea on how to execute its agricultural policy to achieve self-sufficiency in food production and diversify the economy in the process. This was when he met with a delegation of rice and wheat associations in Abuja. Let's get more on this from State House correspondent Jide Onifadi.
While making reference to the flagging off of dry season rice and wheat farming late last year by the president, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo said what President Muhammadu Buhari did then was setting off an agricultural revolution. Pursuing an active agriculture policy in rice and wheat, he said, has always been of importance to the federal government. And this is because importation of both crops is high despite the capacity to grow them locally. Kebbi State Governor Atiku Bagudu, who came along with the farmers, noted that Nigeria would soon be self-sufficient in rice and wheat.
Rice farmers and indeed the wheat farmers have responded to the clarion call by President Muhammadu Buhari and the program that is put in place. We are seeing significant increase in rice production. There has been significant increase in wheat production as we speak.
The cooperation, we have never received the type of cooperation we are having now. We have never received it before. As I said, farmer is like a king now. Bankers, input suppliers, mechanizations, off-takers are meeting him in his farm, to request him for business transaction. So I have never have it like this before.
And do this with just commitments. Support from the stakeholders concerned, not only governments. We have various stakeholders in agricultural development.
Part of the strategic implementation plan of the 2016 budget adopted at the Federal Executive Council meeting is the measures to make the country net exporter of certain agricultural items, including rice in 2018 and wheat in 2019. In the State House, Jide Onifade, NJ News.
In the meantime, Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development, Audu Ogbe, says with more funding, Nigeria will attain self-sufficiency in rice production in the next 3 years. This was part of his submission to members of the House of Representatives at the second day of the ongoing sectoral debate. National Assembly correspondent Ignatius Unkwo reports.
Cattle grazing conflicts between herdsmen and farmers, smuggling of agricultural produce, and poor funding were identified by the minister as some of the major factors inhibiting a breakthrough in the agricultural sector in Nigeria. But the minister, who is also a farmer, says he has solutions to this. For him, establishment and proper management of grazing reserves and ranches will put to an end the seemingly increasing cases of herdsmen-farmers conflict, while the implementation of the Maputo Declaration of 10% budgetary allocation to agriculture will revamp Bank of Agriculture and the various research institutes across the country.
The agri sector should be able to take pride of place in the next year or two. Diversifying the Nigerian economy is our main thrust. We should be able to earn substantial foreign exchange like we did even during the 70s. And our GDP contribution in agriculture should rise to at least 30% in 24 months from now.
We will do our discussion, and you will be able to give us a roadmap in what we will do to salvage our brothers and sisters in the agricultural sector.
We cannot export to US at all. And the main reason is because we do not adhere to the standards set by the American authorities.
For all these research institutes, they just struggle to pay salaries. The director tries to take care of a staff and himself.
The Fulanis formerly had just their sticks to tend to their cattle. But if you see AK-47 wielding herders, I assure you they are from out of this country. And you have to do something as a government to take care of this.
We have seen you, we have listened to you. We know you are more than capable in this sector to make sure that agri sector develops beyond the thinking of ordinary Nigeria. But please, let us stop talking. Let us begin to act.
The House passed for second reading a bill for an act to make a deputy governorship candidate to assume the governorship position in the event of the death of a governorship candidate before the conclusion of an election. It was jointly sponsored by House Leader Femi Gbajabia-Mila and 5 other members.
We're all living witness to the fact that the elections in Kogi threw up a scenario that perhaps was never envisaged by the drafters of the Electoral Act.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against it say nay. The ayes have it.
The House observed a minute silence in honor of the 9 Kano State contingents who attended the Lagos State Secondary School competition who died in a motor accident. A new member, Abdullahi Ulsman of the All Progressives Congress, representing Tarmuwa Federal Constituency of Yobe State, was sworn in. He replaces Khadija Bukar Abba, who was sworn in as minister on November 11, 2015.
At Tuesday's plenary, the Minister of Information, Culture and Tourism, Lai Mohammed, did his submissions, and that submission was also on the diversification of Nigeria's economy.
From the National Assembly, Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
And for any breakthrough in agricultural production in the nation's quest for self-sufficiency and the attainment of food security, experts advocate the implementation of right policies, planning, and the involvement of extension service workers. Talatu Ezerike reports that these were part of contributions on NTA's Current Affairs program, Tuesday Live.
The agricultural sector that until the 80s has contributed greatly to the nation's gross domestic product GDP is faced with challenges that include post-harvest losses, absence of processing, marketing and even funding mechanism, the inability to domesticate or continue with the ADP scheme, and lack of incentives for mechanized farming that has led to rise in food importation. The situation analysts say could be worsened by the present weather condition, as most farmers solely depend on rain-fed production.
Depending on 3 months or 4 months or 5 months of rain in this country will give us enough agricultural produce to make this country self-sufficient. I think we better put that in the cooler and begin to think of a year-round production system.
Even the world is looking at Africa to be fed in 2050. The best way to go is to have GMOs, taking some traits in a crop that are prevalent in resistance or water efficiency or whatever you have, and accentuating that to get a new product that will thrive. And that is why Nigeria has passed the biosafety bill.
Other concerns include the need for value chain addition to make agriculture attractive to the youth, the involvement of extension service workers and adherence to professional advice.
Extension is going to be the bridge builder
We must, as a nation, task everybody that is making money out of Nigeria to live up to a corporate social responsibility of supporting our trouble spot. Okay. And today, food security is our trouble spot.
The need for us to promote one community, one product, to begin to look the strength which each state, each community has in terms of productivity is paramount. Today, if you are bitten by a scorpion in Nigeria, and the first first aid you need to take is for you to take the onions that come in from Borno. It will stop the venom from hitting to your chest. Our onions has one of the best onions in the world today, but they're all going extinct.
Experts strongly believe that the government is taking the right step in reviving the agricultural sector to be a major revenue earner for the country. Talati Izarike, NTA News.
We take you back to the National Assembly now, where the Senate has recommended death penalty for kidnapping and hostage-taking in Nigeria. This followed the adoption of the report of its Joint Committee on Police Affairs, National Security and Intelligence. Let's get more on this from National Assembly correspondent Muhammad Ali.
For 2 consecutive days, the Senate has passed for second reading agricultural-related bills aimed at facilitating federal government's desire to diversify the country's economy. Senators at Wednesday's plenary took turns to support the bill that seeks to establish agricultural credit scheme to promote commercial agriculture in Nigeria, sponsored by Senator Mao Ohuabunwa from Abia State.
As the nation now diversifies the economy, there is a great need to advance the fortunes of commercial agriculture through the introduction of a reliable credit scheme, robust enough and backed by the force of law.
When we encourage commercial farmers through the provision of credit facility, this will improve.
If this bill is implemented and that it will not be hijacked by the portfolio farmers in the country, then it will be good for Nigeria.
The Senate also debated on the report of its Joint Committee on Police Affairs, National Security and Intelligence in respect of a motion on the recurrence of kidnapping and hostage-taking in Nigeria.
It has become something of a lifestyle, not restricted to a particular region or state in Nigeria.
I believe the bigger problem is intelligence sharing within the communities, Mr. President.
Synergy and intelligence sharing among security agencies should be vigorously pursued. Those in favor of recommendation 5, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. And
in addition to the committee's recommendations, the Senate adopted additional prayer sponsored by Senator Adamu Aleru from Kebbi State, seeking a legislation that will prescribe death penalty to kidnappers.
To serve as a deterrent for kidnappers to continue kidnapping people.
And away from plenary, the Northern Senators Forum announced the composition of new leadership with Abdullahi Adamu from Nasarawa State as the chairman.
The forum, that's the Northern Senators Forum, resolved to continue its complete support for President Muhammadu Buhari in order to bring about even development to all sections of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
The forum appreciated measures taken by the federal government to end insurgency and rising clashes between herdsmen and farmers. From the National Assembly, Mohammed Ali, NTA News.
Let's head now to Abeokuta, where one-time Minister of State for Education, Senator Iyabo Anishulowo, who was rescued from some abductors by the police, was received by the Ogun State Governor. Lekon Agonde has the details of that report.
Anishulowo was abducted last Wednesday by gunmen while returning from her farm in Shawojo village, Yewa North local government area. Since then, the collaboration of intersecurity agencies in Nigeria had been on the trail of the kidnappers to rescue the APC chieftain. Their efforts paid off at around 7 p.m. on Tuesday when she was rescued by the security at Begbelawo village near Olonoda town. The rescued senator was brought to the Ogun State Government House in Abeokuta around 10 p.m. by the State Commissioner of Police, Abdulmajid Ali, and other security chiefs.
We traverses over 3 states, and I will continue to look for them. Luckily,
they gave up. The pressure was much on them.
Ogun State Governor commended the efforts of the men of the various security agencies who synergized to ensure the rescue of the senator, noting that the great result was achieved without paying a dime as ransom.
I can say it authoritatively. No cover was paid. No, we did not pay anybody anything. Nobody. Of course, we were running around doing what we should do, but that we should give them, they said, okay, 150 million.
The rescued APC chieftain was full of gratitude to those who rallied around to rescue our...
Then I want to thank Your Excellency for all the work you have put in with the security agency. I know the courage you have and the spirit to fight to the end, and that was what kept me in the bush there.
2 suspects were said to have been arrested in connection with the abduction. In Abuja, Lekon Agbonde, NTA News.
Following the directive by President Muhammadu Buhari that the military should wade into the incessant clashes between Fulani herdsmen and local communities in parts of the country, the Defense Headquarters has held a closed-door meeting with the Miyetti Allah Cattle Breeders Association with a view to finding a lasting solution. Defense correspondent KG Busari Ahmed has the details.
Just like any other traditional vocation, the typical Fulani herdsman breathes and lives his cattle, and for decades has cohabited with other tribes with diverse cultural heritage across the country. But recently, the incessant clashes between the Fulani herdsmen and some local communities in parts of the country have continued to generate concerns from all quarters. Hence, the presidential directive to the military and other security agencies to interface with a view to bring in a lasting solution to the problem.
We are calling on all parties who are interested in peace to sheath their swords. Otherwise, the federal government of Nigeria will bring the full weight of the force and law to bear.
The facilitator of the meeting expressed concern and called on all parties to embrace peace.
That is not an excuse to say that anybody in the name of a herdsman can go and kill anybody in this country, and then we allowed it to go. That cannot happen anyway. The government and the Miyetti Allah must ensure that the sanctity of life of a farmer or any other citizen of the country or a herdsman is protected.
A committee to interface between the Fulani herdsmen and their affected communities has since been set up by the Defense Headquarters. KG Busari Ahmed, NTA News.
For a bit from the judiciary, the trial of former Imo State Governor Ikedi Ohakim on corruption charges while in office has resumed before the Federal High Court in Abuja. At Wednesday's sitting, 2 witnesses testified on how a property was acquired at Asokoro in Abuja. Judiciary correspondent Femi Okewo has the details.
Testifying for the prosecution was an architect and former associate of Chief Ikedi Ohakim, Abusule, who told the court that he collected $2.3 million from the former governor in 2008 to buy him a property at number 60 Kwame Nkrumah Street, Asokoro, Abuja, in the name of Queenex Consults. On cross-examination, Abusule admitted that he did not obtain a receipt for the $2.3 million purchase, but that since he obtained the deed of assignment, that served the purpose of the purchase. The second witness, Alhaji Mukhtar Isa Meidabino, confirmed to the court that it was his property that was sold to Queenex Consult, even though he had never met the former governor or Hakim in person.
We support the fight against corruption, and we're in unity that cases such as this should move at the fastest pace. You can see that we are not the ones that occasioned the adjournment today. We're here for today and tomorrow. Whatever business they bring tomorrow, we will confront the witness.
For a matter that started on the 20th of October 2015, observers say that the pace of this corruption trial has been impressive. The prosecution seems ready with all its witnesses, and the last 2 will be brought to the court on Thursday, where the prosecution will then close its case. From the Federal High Court, Femi Okewo, NTA News.
Sorry for the loss of sound in parts of that report. Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed has again enumerated the gains inherent in the digital switchover of television broadcasting in Nigeria. The minister highlighted the advantages at a media briefing in Abuja. Here is Anthony Fosun with the details.
Has been surmounted.
Nigeria has missed 2 deadlines to transit from analog to digital, in addition to missing a number of self-imposed dates for the pilot scheme. After 6 months of uncommon commitment and dedication by the stakeholders, we finally switched on digital broadcasting in the city of Jos. Gentlemen, when we rolled out the DSO in Jos last Saturday, we didn't just switch on digital broadcasting, we also revolutionized television broadcasting in Nigeria.
He said the process is a move to revolutionize broadcasting as well as make information flow accessible to all citizens.
You cannot see that failure is not an option for us. Gentlemen, in the days ahead, we'll continue our engagement with all stakeholders in order to fine-tune the DSO process and continue our build-up to meeting the deadline of June 2017. Indeed, we'll be able to meet the 3rd deadline of June 2017 to fully switch on digital broadcasting and switch off analog broadcasting.
The minister disclosed that Lagos and Abuja will be the next destination for the switchover. In Abuja, Anthony Fosun, NTA News.
Do stay with us here on News Extra. Still to come, no hiding place for insurgents as the Nigerian Air Force bears its air power in Sambisa Forest. Plus, the health sector inducts new doctors. Do stay with us.
If you hear a bomb explosion or gunshots of an active shooter, that might be a terror attack. At such times, always remember 3 action words: run, hide, report. Don't try to run towards the terror scene to save the situation, because there might be a second bomb blast or another attack. Run far away and take cover. Make sure you are safe first. Yes, it is in our nature to sympathize over the hurt, but remember, only trained personnel can help in such situations. When in a secured environment, promptly call relevant authorities and help will come. For anonymous reporting, call 09630-3250-5 or 0813-2222-106. If you see something, say something. Nigeria unite against terrorism. This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
With breathtaking views of the city. Rise above. Sunrise Hills is unlike anything you've ever seen before. A new way of life is dawning in the heart of Nigeria.
The land is green. Yes, the land is green. The federal government is working diligently to keep the land green. In line with the vision of government, the Debt Management Office is committed to managing Nigeria's debt as asset for growth, development, and poverty reduction. Be a part of building a better Nigeria by investing in FGN bonds. FGN bonds offer several benefits to investors. Principal and interest are guaranteed and secured by the federal government of Nigeria. They are listed and traded on the Nigerian Stock Exchange. They can be used as collateral for borrowing. Investors receive guaranteed competitive fixed income every 6 months, as well as principal amount at maturity. You can invest as little as 10,000 naira in the FGN bond. To be part of this great offer, see your stockbroker, banks, or discount houses for details. DMO, using FGN funds to support sustainable economic development.
Guys, I did try remember the code to buy MTN internet bundle.
That one easy now. Make I help you Google the thing. Nah.
Just dial *123# I dey use BB now. Just dial *123#. If I want change tariff plan, uncle. Same thing.
Of course. That's why it comes simple.
For faster access to MTN services, just dial *123#.
MTN. Everywhere you go.
There is a reason Africa is called the new frontier. What was once potential is now an opportunity ready to be seized. Once revered for our resources, today's wealth lies in our people. People who build the cities that shape the future. People who know an idea in one place means business in another. A generation for whom technology means there are no borders, no boundaries. We are the new lions in a brave new world, kings of the urban jungle. And there's a bank that puts the world in our pocket and the future in our hands. UBA, Africa's global bank.
There's a place where investment makes so much sense. Do you want to know?
You are invited to Katsina Economic and Investment Summit.
Summit theme, Unlocking Investment Potentials for Sustainable Development. Speakers, a team of experts. Special guest of honor, His Excellency Muhammadu Buhari, President, Federal Republic of Nigeria. Date, 9 to 11th of May 2016. Venue, Muhammadu Buhari House, New Katsina State Government House, Katsina, Nigeria.
Morning, oh. Morning, morning, oh.
Good morning.
Hey, how are you today? How are you? Morning, my son.
Hello, what's up?
Welcome, man.
Yo.
Good morning. How are you?
Everybody is coming back to campus and nobody wants to leave. Because with Glow Campus Data Booster, you get 8 times the value of your data when you're on campus. That means 8 times your chatting, browsing, pinging, and more.
Who are these people? Come on, get this. What the?
With Glow Campus Booster, you get 8 times the value of your data plan while on campus. It now comes with free talk time. Dial *777# and choose your Campus Booster plan.
The largest data network. Glow Unlimited.
If you work hard and sow, you deserve a good harvest. That's only fair. If you study hard, you deserve good grades. That's only fair. If you train hard, you deserve to win the prize. That's only fair. If you work hard as an employee, you should have something to show for it. That's only fair. At Premium Pension, we understand it's what you put in that guarantees a secure future. Talk to us today about your pension plan. Premium Pension. The future starts now.
Welcome back to News Extra. The final onslaught against Boko Haram terrorists has commenced with increase in the tempo of airstrikes in the Sambisa forest by the Nigerian Air Force. The objective is to create a conducive environment that would enable ground forces to move in and flush out the remnants of Boko Haram terrorists in the Sambisa forest. The operation, code-named Operation Crackdown, has mobilized more fighter ground attack aircraft, helicopter gunships, and medium-lift helicopters to give the operation the push required to flush the terrorists from the forest. Over 100 hours have been flown in a series of air operations. The Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar, has charged Nigerian Air Force personnel involved in the operation to remain in their peak in putting in their best in all assigned tasks as they enter into the final phase of the fight against Boko Haram insurgency in the northeast. In another development, following incessant clashes between farmers and herdsmen, as well as other communal crises around the Nasarawa-Benue axis, the Nigerian Army has commenced the construction of a battalion in Doma, Nasarawa State to boost security in the two states. Joshua Ojito has the details.
While the project is being funded by the federal government, Nasarawa state government on its part donated the 1,200 hectares of land for the construction of the army battalion, as all compensations to landowners have been paid. When completed, the battalion will accommodate 1,000 soldiers. Already, the Forward Operation Base (FOB) of the Nigerian Army has been deployed to the state for regular patrol and surveillance of crisis-prone areas pending the completion of the project.
I feel the location of this barracks in Lafia Doma is most appropriate because it will add value to security activities within the zone.
Meanwhile, Nasarawa state government is intensifying its efforts to link rural communities across the states through road construction as part of its rural development program to open up rural communities in the states.
Centerpiece of our policy during this second tenure is to concentrate very effectively on seeing how we leverage the people in the rural areas.
Some of the ongoing rural projects include the Awe-Tunga Federal Road, Kiana-Giza-Kadorko Road linking Benue State, among others, as well as Dedere Cottage Water Works, an initiative of the state government in collaboration with the Sustainable Development Goals SDGs Office to provide potable drinking water for rural communities in the state. In Lafia, Joshua Ojito, NTA News.
The People's Democratic Party, PDP, in the Southwest has agreed to rise up beyond personal interest to confront national issues that affect the Yoruba race. This is contained in a communique at the end of a leaders' meeting in Akure. Doris Olumoko reports. Sorry, we can't continue with that report due to the loss of sound in air. Now, moving on now to more judicial matters. Grand Qadis and Qadis of the FCT Sharia Court of Appeal, President and judges of the FCT Customary Court of Appeal, as well as President and judges of the National Industrial Court, who before now have not been entitled to retirement benefits, can now be provided for when the Pension Rights of Judges Act is amended, after submissions at a public hearing by the House Committee on Judiciary. National Assembly correspondent Grace Oyenubi has the details.
Chairman House Committee on Judiciary Representative Aminu Shehu Shagari said these judicial officers were excluded in previous acts.
To include those courts that have been promulgated after the passage of the act, so just to include the judges.
The second bill for public hearing is the Federal Capital Territory District Court Act Amendment Bill 2015. It seeks to assert the statutory role of the legislature to make laws.
District courts are actually magistrate courts in the FCT when they are taking on civil cases. So in the old act, or in the present act, it's the president that increases the power or the jurisdiction of a district court, subject to recommendation by the FCT High Court judge. And you know very well that that is not, that is a misnomer. It should be that the National Assembly has the rights to make laws and to increase jurisdiction to the district courts.
The two bills were sponsored by Representative Osai Nicholas Osai. From the National Assembly, Grace Oyenubi, NTA News.
Turning to the education sector now, As one of the educationally disadvantaged states with a high number of out-of-school children and some infrastructural gaps in basic education, Kwara State is begging for more federal government attention. Franca Uzoma Olwa reports that officials of the Universal Basic Education Commission, UBEC, were in the state to monitor federal government intervention there.
With 1,528 public primary schools and 419 junior secondary schools, Kwara State is among the states that have the challenge of access to education. To address this, the federal government decided to take basic education to underserved areas through the construction and renovation of schools. Government Girls Model School, Okoyi, in Kwara State is one of the 2 girls' model schools being constructed by the federal government to discourage girl child dropout in the state. The school is expected to kick off in September, but for some of the desks in the classrooms which are undersupplied.
If this building is not completed, the installation and everything is not completed within 2 weeks' time, let you remind me, I will punish anybody who is behind.
Kwara State Subeb has set up a committee to see to the takeoff of the school. We have even bought some equipment so that we go on radio and advocacy.
Work at the 2 e-library projects in the state is almost completed, apart from the poor quality of chairs supplied at the Federal Government Girls College, Omo-Oro.
Person supplying the furniture is not doing the right thing, so I directed that it should be rejected. That's right.
We go a very long way to assist us, especially nowadays when books are very expensive and teachers were unable to do proper research before going into classes, and to help our students a lot.
For Governor Abdul Fattah Ahmed, there should be strict enforcement of the relevant laws on parents who fail to send their children to school.
When we say Al-Majiri, most people would think that's just a northern affair. Whereas we have 1,001 students that are out of school. Those ones that are not Al-Majiri are hanging on in bus stops in other parts of the country. So it's not an Al-Majiri issue per se. It's a case of pupils who ordinarily should be in school are out of school.
Kwara State is in the process of accessing the 2014/2015 UBE matching grants. Franca Uzoma Olwa, NTA News.
Still talking education, the Federal Capital Territory Administration says it will partner with the National Teachers Institute to improve the capacity of teachers in primary and secondary schools in the territory. FCT Minister Muhammad Musa Bello, during a meeting with the management of the NTI in Abuja, says such partnership has become imperative to reverse the depreciating standard of education. Here is Mitaire Ikpen with the details.
The FCT minister pointed out that the poor performances of FCT students in WAEC and NECO examinations in recent times call for drastic measures towards reviving the standard of education in the territory.
The performance of the students, especially in the public schools, very below average, and will continue to partner with you.
Director General of the National Teachers Institute, Aminu Ladan Sharehu, pledged full cooperation with the FCT administration in the area of capacity building for teachers to enable them deliver quality education.
We provide opportunities for teachers across the country to engage in some workshop seminars and conferences to actually engage them more, and then for them to be able to continue to improve their teaching skills and competencies.
He said the institute will require the assistance of the FCT administration in making available facilities in public schools to train more teachers. In Abuja, Mitaire Ikben, NTA News.
Some development news now. Bauchi State Government is giving attention to the provision of infrastructure, security and improving the living standard of the people. The State Governor, Muhammad Abdullahi Abubakar, said this while inaugurating new structures at the NYC Orientation Camp, Wailo. Babayo Tafidamiso has the details.
Muhammad Abdullahi Abubakar noted that the intervention made in upgrading, construction and rehabilitation of dilapidated structures at the NYC Orientation Camp Wailo has enhanced the conducive atmosphere for training of core members to key into the ideals of nation building. The governor stated that the huge investment made by his administration in the NYSC scheme is born out of the realization that the future of the state and the country at large depends largely on the youths, hence the need to harness their potentials. He assured the commitment of his administration to the safety, security and welfare of core members in all parts of the state. Governor Mohammed Abdullahi Abubakar noted that the intervention made in upgrading, construction and rehabilitation of dilapidated structures at the NYSC orientation camp Wailo has enhanced the conducive atmosphere for training of core members to key into ideals of nation building. The governor stated that the huge investment made by his administration in the NYSC scheme is born out of the realization that the future of the state and the country at large depends largely on the youths, hence the need to harness their potentials. He assured the commitment of his administration to the safety, security and welfare of core members in all parts of the state.
Our commitment to the scheme is irrevocable, and our vision for the camp is to upgrade it with the state-of-the-art facilities. What you have seen here, therefore, is a tip of the iceberg.
The coordinator of the NYSC in the state, Alhaji Musa Abubakar, has said the settlement of backlog of allowances owed core members, supplementing feeding during the orientation course, special recognition for core members that put up outstanding performance, and provision of security and welfare has changed the fortunes of NYSC scheme in Bauchi State. Some core members, while speaking to NTA News, expressed gratitude to the Bauchi State government for making life comfortable in the camp. The new structures commissioned include a total fencing of the camp, hostels, dining hall, toilets, and a Hilux van and ambulance provided by the NYSC headquarters to the camp. In Bauchi, Babeto Fidemiso, NTA News.
Moving on to health matters now. Adequate control of diabetes leads to lower risk of life-threatening complications such as blindness and diabetic foot, which usually leads to the amputation of the limbs. In this report, health correspondent Rabi Abdullah brings us the latest techniques in diabetes control and issues of quality where insulin usage in Nigeria is concerned.
This is the pancreas, which produces insulin, a hormone that allows glucose and other nutrients from food to enter the body's cells, where it is converted into energy needed by muscles and tissues to function. Diabetes occurs when a person's system cannot produce enough or effectively use insulin, making glucose to stay in the blood, damaging tissues over time with the attendant complications. There are two types of diabetes: the type 1 and type 2.
If it is type 1 diabetes, that's the one that occurs in young people, the pancreas is not able to produce any insulin at all. The only way to save this individual is by giving insulin.
Dr. Hassan Bashir Jibril, a diabetic who lives in the United States, latches into the modern techniques of controlling insulin-dependent diabetes.
This is lentils. Lentils pain. You have it with you. Now it will work like a pancreas. Level of controlling of diabetes, 85% to 90%. But the insulin pump is 99.9% to control diabetes.
Professor Felicia Anuma is one of the few endocrinologists managing the over 5 million diabetics in the country.
Finances is a very big issue. Now the cheapest is the bottle and the vial. Each bottle about 2,000 naira or so. There are people who still can't afford this. The insulin pump is quite expensive. That goes for about $4,000.
Dr. Hassan Bashir Jibril expressed this view on the quality of insulin available in the country based on his experience.
The composition of the mixed insulin supplies in the United States is quite different from the one here. The mixed insulin we have in here does not control diabetes.
What has NAFDAC got to say about this?
Complaints we've received include situations where you have lack of efficacy. You also have issues where you have reactions resulting in unconsciousness. And in some cases, you have issues where insulin is administered and you see that there's rise in blood sugar. But the major cause of most of the complaint we have is regarding the storage of this product. Insulin is very sensitive to rise in temperature and also extreme cold conditions. And when insulin is subjected to very high temperatures, it loses its potency.
Minister of Health Professor Isaac Adewale sums it up.
We want to ensure that Nigerians have access to qualitative medicine as and when needed, and we shall do this. We plan to reconstitute and put life in the expert committee on non-communicable diseases, and as soon as they're operational, we will look at the funding mechanism, how now we can bring the National Health Insurance Scheme to also provide support.
To quote the experts, in managing diabetes, the end justifies the means, meaning that what is important is to have a normal sugar level, regardless of the methodology, taking cognizance, of course, quality and safety. In Abuja, this is Rabi Abdullah, NTA News.
Meanwhile, experts have advised Nigerians to avoid stigmatizing those with sickle cell, as this accounts for more hardship experienced by those living with the condition. The experts spoke on NTA's Good Morning Nigeria, where they discussed managing sickle cell disorder. Oyeyemi Ajayi has the details.
I go through a lot of things, a lot of pains, a lot of bad words from people. With people around me, calling me names that you are Banje, you are this, you are that. So without having the knowledge.
The story of Toyin resonates with many people living with sickle cell disorder in Nigeria and in many parts of the world. A lack of early detection, poor medical attention, discrimination, among others, add to the difficulties experienced by sickle cell carriers. Statistics show that half of them die at the age of 5, with Nigeria having the highest number of cases in the world.
What happens is that they inherit this abnormal gene, the S gene, from both parents. And when this gene is in the system, you have children who grow up having frequent crises, usually after the age of 6 months.
The guests agreed that being a sickle cell carrier is not a death sentence, and there is a need for proper awareness.
But the new advances are that there's new medicines. Hydroxyurea is actually an older medicine now, but there's new medicines coming. And then now we have cures with stem cell transplant.
In addition, there is a drug, hydroxyurea, that's taken orally. It usually costs less than $1 a day per patient.
The other thing is blood transfusion, which unfortunately that availability is kind of challenged in the country so far, but we need to kind of improve on that.
They also emphasize that the condition can be prevented when intending couples get tested and make informed choices.
To the other conditions that may make the child grow into adulthood, that depends on the level of fetal hemoglobin, that is the type of hemoglobin that the fetus has, which about the age of 3-4 months will begin to disappear from the body.
What we do here is go to schools, we meet them young. By the time they know at the tender age when they are not committed, by the time they now want to get committed, they will know the decision to make, they'll make the right decision.
Members of the public were also advised to carry out tests to enable them know their genotype. In Abuja, Oyeyemi Ajayi, NTA News.
The Nigerian health sector has received a boost with the induction of 343 foreign-trained medical doctors by the Medical and Dental Council of Nigeria. Minister of Health, Professor Isaac Adewale, challenged the doctors to adhere to the ethics of the profession in line with global best practices. Aisha Uba Ali has the details.
A total of 378 doctors and 9 dentistry doctors trained abroad sat for the first batch of the Council's examination held in April this year. But only 343 doctors and 6 dentistry doctors passed. The exams is supposed to determine and check the knowledge and skills of foreign medical students to ensure that their standard measure up to that of doctors trained in Nigeria. Having made it, speakers at the occasion charged doctors to remain disciplined, respect to all, including other health professionals, maintain their integrity, and above all, eschew corruption. One inductee that caught our attention is 23-year-old Dr. Ibitayo, who studied in Ukraine. Like other inductees,
it is a day they have long awaited.
It's actually very fulfilling and exciting at the same time.
I should do everything in my power to make sure that I treat my patients as important.
It's a day I never thought I would see when I started my first year in medical school.
Station certificate, I've spelled it all. So I call upon them to really duly abide by it. Let it be their guiding principle.
Yeah, I've always looked forward to this day, and like every parent, I'm really, really elated.
It was rough, but today we are proud parents of a medical doctor.
Speakers say there is need for synergy among relevant agencies to address the challenges surrounding the internship scheme, which allows these young doctors after induction to train in accredited institutions.
We are working assiduously to ensure that doctors eligible for internship training will no longer wait endlessly searching for centers to enroll for their training.
They also stress the need for the postgraduate medical college curriculum to be reviewed with a view of strengthening the medical profession. In Abuja, Aisha Oba Ali, NTA News.
Up ahead on News Extra, Smeden set with new strategies for small businesses. The details shortly after these messages. Join us again.
Taste the feeling.
Nigerians. Suicide bombers are not spirits. They are not ghosts. They are human beings like you and me. They live amongst us. They are your neighbors. They are your friends today, but terrorists tomorrow. So you must know your neighbor now. Security begins with you and me. Know your neighbor. Be vigilant. Be security conscious. Report suspicious persons, objects, and movements to the police and other security agencies. The security of our nation is a duty for you and me.
If you see something, say something. Nigeria, unite against terrorism. This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
Did you know with Hollandia evaporated milk, you get a whole lot more. You get 25% more milk than 170 grams. Go for more. Go for Hollandia evaporated milk, 215 grams pack. Hollandia evaporated milk, 25% more, same price.
House of
Did you know with Hollandia evaporated milk, you get a whole lot more. You get 25% more milk than 170 grams. Go for more. Go for Hollandia evaporated milk, 215 grams pack. Hollandia evaporated milk, 25% more, same price.
House of
Enjoy the creamy taste of new Cadbury Bonvita, made from rich chocolate, vitamins, and minerals in an attractive new pack. Cadbury Bonvita, prepare to win.
Smeden plans to come up with new strategies that will boost the activities of small and medium-scale businesses. This and more with Abdullahi Muhammad on Business News.
Hello, good to have you join us on Business News. The development of the capacity of the small and medium-scale entrepreneurs will assist the federal government to realizing its aspirations of creating thousands of jobs for the team in Nigerian youths. The Smaller Medium Enterprises Development Agency of Nigeria, SMEDEN, which is mandated to provide the necessary support for these class of businessmen, say it is planning to adopt new strategies expected to stimulate the activities of smaller medium-scale entrepreneurs.
We have put a team on ground to see how we can amend the act that establishes SMEDEN to make SMEDEN all-encompassing.
Meanwhile, a delegation of Chinese auto parts manufacturers have held discussions with their Nigerian counterparts. This is to foster a partnership expected to attract huge investment to the Nigerian auto part manufacturing sector.
A lot of Chinese auto industry, not only the parts companies, but also the vehicle manufacturers are very much interested in bringing their technologies, equipment, and management skills here to help Nigeria to improve the auto industry.
You know, of late, there has been some conscious efforts by the government to promote trade and investment relations between Nigeria and China, especially following the recent visit of the President of the Federal Republic, President Muhammadu Buhari, to China.
And that's business news. Thanks for being part of it. News Extra continues shortly.
Thank you very much, Abdullahi. We have more financial news now. Accountant General of the Federation, Ahmed Idris, has urged financial managers to be more prudent and transparent in the management of public expectations. He was speaking when members of some professional bodies visited him in Abuja. Joy Uzo reports.
Recently, Nigeria was adopted into the membership panel of the International Public Sector Accounting Standard Board's Consultative Advisory Group. The present administration's efforts to block financial leakages and improve prudence, accountability and transparency is said to be partly responsible for this development. Accountant General of the Federation, Idris Ahmed, told the financial experts that the nation has no option but to be prudent in managing public funds in the face of dwindling revenues.
And we all know that the price of oil at international market has gone down, and that Nigeria is only earning about 35% of what it hitherto earned from that source of revenue. Knowing that, look, it cannot be business as usual anymore. We must utilize the mean and lean resources available for meeting public expectation. And as financial managers, I implore you, I urge you to be prudent in managing resources.
The groups expressed their resolve to support the present administration in reviving the economy and ensuring that accountability and transparency are entrenched in the system. In Abuja, Joy Uzo, NTA News.
As Nigerians look forward to the rains, how prepared are Lagosians as well as the state government to curtail flooding? In this report, Rotimi Oluwagbemi went round the metropolis to find out the level of preparedness.
First port of call is this bad road along Ijora. Some respondents who refused to speak on camera said his state is as a result of poor drainage. At Ijora Badia, however, there is a noticeable improvement in the condition of the road compared to the last time NTA News visited the area. Residents attributed the improvement to communal efforts and appealed to the government to assist them in the rehabilitation of the road.
We that have shops there, it's affecting our business. Many people have been relocating from this place to another place because of how bad the road.
You can see the road down. If it starts falling down, no marwa, no motor, no foot pass here again.
We don't sleep because of the challenges when it rains. Now that we are approaching the rainy season, we are begging our government to please come to our aid and do these roads, very quickly.
One of the canals visited was littered with all sorts of waste, while others were clean and devoid of garbage. NTA's effort to have the Executive Secretary of Apapa Idomu Local Council Development Area, Olufumilayo Akande Muhammad, to comment on plans to prevent flood in the area was futile as she refused to speak to the press. There is no doubt that the rainy season has finally come, and Lagos State government is putting measures in place to control flooding. But Lagosians still want government to come to their aid by rehabilitating some of their roads and construct more drainages. In Lagos, Rotimi Oluwagbemi, NTA News.
The Chief Executive Officer of the Commonwealth Enterprise and Investment Council, Oliver Everett, has assured Nigeria of the Council's readiness to explore the numerous investment opportunities in the country with a view to enhancing non-oil revenue generation. He made this known during a visit to the Nigerian Investment Promotion Commission in Abuja. Abdullahi Suleiman Iyaji reports.
The Commonwealth Enterprise and Investment Council is an aid body seeking to network among Commonwealth countries to increase economic benefits. Chief Executive Officer of the Council identified agriculture, infrastructure, and solid mineral development as key areas the Council is willing to enhance.
We see the greatest potential of all for cooperation and for success with our friends in Nigeria. We hope it was the beginning of very strong and long-term cooperation within our NIPC and I think Nigeria more generally.
They are looking for project finance, and what we have here are investors who have projects which they need help with. So it's sort of like a B2B, a matchmaking session whereby they can present their projects. Mr. Oliver will look at it and see how they can assist them to actualize their project. So it's sort of an investment drive to help facilitate investment, more investment into Nigeria.
Acting Executive Secretary of the Nigerian Investment Promotion Commission also pledged rapid facilitation of investments through effective partnership. The Commonwealth Enterprise and Investment Council is seeking to partner with entrepreneurs, manufacturers, and businessmen with a view to promoting investment in Nigeria. In Abuja, I'm Abdullahi Suleiman Iyaji, NTA News.
Up ahead on News Extra, the increasing abuse of the nation's road network. This and more after these messages. Do stay with us.
Daily exposure to different environments leads to a buildup of germs, oil, and dirt. These can cause blemishes and uneven skin tone. You need new Dettol Even Tone. It removes 99.9% of germs and is formulated to remove excess oil and dirt, helping to reduce the appearance of blemishes, giving your family the confidence of healthy, even-toned skin. For an even better you, new Dettol Even Tone.
Endorsed by the Nigerian Medical Association.
Introducing the new Dettol 55-gram soap with the same germ protection and quality at a more affordable price. Buy the new Dettol 55-gram soap for 80 Naira only. Keep your family protected from germs.
We must remain steadfast in our commitment to steer this country back to greatness.
He is one of the best brands that we have as a country, and we have to take advantage of that.
Look inwards and see how we'll be able to enhance our resources.
The problem now of Nigeria is man-made. It's just a question of patience and cooperate with the government. Nigeria will go back to those better days.
The man who's leading us, he wouldn't talk much, but he does a lot.
We shall deliver security, jobs, and infrastructure. This is the right of all Nigerians. Our actions will speak for us.
The production, distribution, and sale of counterfeit and fake drugs is a corrupt practice and a crime against humanity. This has informed several measures and strategies to combat fake drugs, including introduction of anti-counterfeiting cutting-edge technologies to detect fake drugs on the spot. These technologies are being deployed to all the states across the Federation, as well as the internally displaced people's camps. The President, Muhammadu Buhari, and his team are committed to this fight.
The federal government of Nigeria, in line with its anti-corruption agenda and posture, will fight a total war against fake drugs and other unwholesome regulated products in order to ensure that Nigerians remain healthy and well.
Lend your support and join NAFDAC to rid the country of fake drugs and unwholesome regulated products. NAFDAC, safeguarding the health of the nation.
Hello again. Welcome back to News Extra on the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA. To combat transnational organized crimes such as drug and human trafficking as well as terrorism, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Geoffrey Onyema, has reaffirmed government's commitment to partner with relevant organizations, particularly the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime. The minister said this at a meeting with the UNIDO Executive Director in Abuja. Gabriel Odu has the details.
The Minister of Foreign Affairs, Geoffrey Onyema, acknowledging the strategic mandate of the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crimes, UNODC, says Nigeria will work closely with the UNODC to combating organized crimes within and outside the country.
In the area of drug trafficking, another area that your organization deals with, this too is an issue that we are struggling with and trying to get on top of.
The UNODC Executive Director says Nigeria occupies a pride of place in the mandates of its organization.
Nigeria could play a leading role in Africa to promote the implementation of important international conventions and treaties, and I welcome that Nigeria acceded to all treaties and conventions related to our responsibility, as you know.
The UNODC Executive Director is scheduled to meet relevant government agencies while in Nigeria. In Abuja, Gabriel Odu, NTA News.
Records from the Federal Ministry of Power, Works and Housing indicate increasing abuse of the nation's road network. This ranges from vandalism of road infrastructure, dumping of refuse on the shoulder of the road, and reckless erection of speed bumps. In this report, Ismail Musa examines the growing trend in the abuse of speed bumps and the effect on road users.
Speed bumps or speed breakers are usually made of concrete, asphalt, or plastic material. They are erected or placed on roads to reduce or break the speed of vehicles. This is with a view to improving safety on roads to enhance the safety of pedestrians in densely populated area or in marketplaces and schools. Cases of indiscriminate erection of speed bumps on highways without recourse to standards is now a source of concern to motorists and the Federal Road Safety Commission.
They are not recommended on expressways. They are abnormality on expressways.
In some places, logs of woods and stones are being used as speed breakers. Of recent, speed breakers were erected at Kubo along the Abuja-Mararaba-Kefi Road, a federal highway. With the sloping nature of the road and recorded cases of articulated vehicles losing control, the speed breakers these motorists say will cause more harm than good.
It's going to be very grievous, very dangerous, because when the vehicles are lining up and the vehicle fail brake like that, crush many vehicles.
If they want to help masses, they should do pedestrian bridge here.
The Traffic Management Department of the FCT says the increasing number of accidents involving pedestrians led to the erection of the speed breakers.
What we thought were going to solve some problem created some other problems. We have, as presently now, removed the bump.
As a means of addressing the abuse of road infrastructure, a task force was set up about 4 years ago by the then Federal Ministry of Works, comprising the police and other paramilitary, but could not be sustained due to poor funding.
Most of the roads where speed bumps have been erected is either there are no road signs, or where these road signs exist, they have been abused. Ismail Musa, NTA News.
A crash helmet is one of the basic requirements for a commercial motorcyclist, popularly referred to as Okada in Lagos State. Most of the riders, however, do not adhere to this essential part of their operations. Tunde Saiki in this report takes a look at the commercial motorcycle operations and the enforcement of crash helmet safety law in Lagos.
Helmets, especially by motorcycle operators in the Lagos metropolis, has always been controversial among both operators and the citizens. This is because operators who have a reputation of hardly using it insist that although they have to use them, their passengers always give excuses and hardly accept to wear them. Why? Let him explain better.
They said that they didn't want to use helmet, that another person use helmet for their head, another head use it, miss many things. So they cannot use helmet. They don't want it.
Motorcycle passengers say despite their benefits, the hygiene of most crash helmets puts them off.
Most of the bikes don't even put on their don't even put on their helmet. So there's every possible chance that we the passengers also doesn't going to put on any helmet.
Before they use, so but now say nobody then they use that, then they use. But even now say the people tell say may I wear them, everybody will wear them.
Helmet cause a lot of problem. If you use helmet, if another person use it, this dandruff or something like that, you always cause all those things.
Efforts to sort the views of the law enforcement agents that are saddled with the responsibility of enforcing the crash helmet rules did not yield positive response. They have also been accused of sometimes looking the other way while the Okada riders carry on without their protective helmets. In Lagos, Tunde Saiki, NTA News.
There's more ahead after this break. Do stay with us on News Extra. We'll be right back.
Daily exposure to different environments leads to a buildup of germs, oil, and dirt. These can cause blemishes and uneven skin tone. You need new Dettol Even Tone. It removes 99.9% of germs and is formulated to remove excess oil and dirt, helping to reduce the appearance of blemishes, giving your family the confidence of healthy, even-toned skin. For an even better you, new Dettol Even Tone.
Endorsed by the Nigerian Medical Association.
Introducing the new Dettol 55-gram soap with the same germ protection and quality at a more affordable price. Buy the new Dettol 55-gram soap for 80 naira only. Keep your family protected from germs.
The clock ticks, the anxiety thickens. Get ready as the Garden City of Port Harcourt plays host to the biggest and most prestigious Africa Movie Academy Awards. Come June 11, 2016, Africa's most distinguished and creative filmmakers and practitioners will unite for the 12th edition of the AMAs, a night to reward and celebrate excellence and glamour. AMA, peace through African cinema.
On the foreign scene, Canada wildfire may worsen even as some 80,000 people in Fort McMurray in Alberta province flee as flames head to the center of the city. The blaze broke out on Sunday. Let's get more global tidbits with Ronke Kolawole.
In Kenya, an attempt to use anthrax as a biological attack by a terror group linked with Islamic State has been thwarted by the police. Already, 3 of the suspects, including a wife and husband, have been arrested, while rewards have been offered for the 2 other men at large. News from Ethiopia says out of the more than 100 Ethiopian children abducted in a cross-border raid last month, 41 have been found alive in South Sudan, efforts are on to reunite them with their families. In South Africa, hundreds of pupils have lost their learning places, being an aftermath of protests by residents in Limpopo province, leading to 8 schools being touched and badly damaged. The protesters reacted to the decision of government to put the schools under a new district authority. And still in Africa, Burundi mourns one of its former leaders, Colonel Bagaza, who ruled the country as a military president between 1976 and 1987. He died at the age of 69 in a Belgian hospital. Away from Africa, European Commission is proposing a financial penalty of $290,000 per rejected person on European countries who refuse to take their share of asylum seekers. The proposal is, however, subject to the support of member states and parliaments. For Global Tidbits, Ronke Kolawole, NTA News.
Wednesday, the 4th of May 2016 marks 4 years since the death of Nigeria's football icon Rashidi Yekini. Sports correspondent Ayodeji Makinde takes a look at the striker's record and the space he left behind in Nigerian football.
One name that readily draws attention and admiration in Nigeria's football fraternity is Super Eagles' highest goal scorer of all time, Rashidi Yekini, who passed on 4th May 2012 after undisclosed neurological condition. The prolific striker, born on 23rd October 1963, scored a record 37 goals in 58 appearances over a period of 14 years in the senior national team, winning the African Footballer of the Year award in 1993, African Nations Cup in 1994, as well as scoring Nigeria's first ever goal at the FIFA World Cup in USA 94.
Now Amokachi. There's no flag, they're onside here. Yakini's in the middle and has to score! 1-0 to Nigeria. And Yekini, one of the most feared strikers in the World Cup.
Often described as a gentle and unassuming character by his former teammates, the gangling striker scored 164 goals in 253 club appearances, with a blistering record of 90 goals in 114 games for Portuguese side Vitória Setúbal between 1990 and 1994.
A very friendly guy, very friendly guy, you know, very humorous. He makes us laugh every time.
If you are with him from morning till night, you will never have a dull moment.
However, since his retirement from international football in 1998, following a goal in Nigeria's 2-2 draw with Jamaica in Kingston, strikers in the national team have fallen short of his record, instead offering quick fixes on a short-term basis. As a new generation of rising stars, including Victor Osimhen, Kelechi Nwakali, Kelechi Iheanacho, Alex Iwobi, and Aminu Umar, as well as the rest, continue to up their game by the day, analysts say it would not take long before Nigeria re-emerge as a force in world football. While the wait continues, NTA pays tribute to the soul of the late Rashidi Yekini. In Abuja, Ayodeji Makinde, NTA News.
Abuja experienced some rain this evening. Let's take a check on the weather prospects, whether you need